Hello and welcome to What's in Carrie's Therapy Bag. I am your host, Carrie Clark, and today I'm going to be showing you what I keep in my therapy bag. I may have stuffed it a little extra full today because I wanted to share my favorite therapy materials, activities, games, all of that stuff with you today. So I'm going to be walking through this live inside the hub. So welcome to Peg and Marie and Tondaleo. Welcome, guys. Hi. All right. So you guys can pop over into the chat and ask questions as we go along. I would also encourage you guys to share your favorite materials that are related to mine. So if you have favorite games or favorite books, put those in the chat and then we'll be able to add all of that to this podcast recording as well. So everybody can benefit from the amazing community that we have here inside the SLK curriculum. Now, if you are listening to this as a podcast recording, you won't get to see the things I'm holding up, but I will try very hard to describe them and also keep my mouth close to the microphone so you can hear me. But we would love to have you on our live podcast recordings as well. You can go to hub.speechandlanguagekids.com. You do need a subscription in order to access our community, but we'd love to have you in. All right. Awesome. Hi, Zelindia. Welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to start going through my bag. I'm going to pull things out one at a time, talk about what each one is and why I have it. And then, like I said, you guys live can chime in with your favorites as well. Okay, so the very first thing is my big, giant iPad. For those of you who are on listening on podcast, I have the biggest one I think they've ever made. I don't know. This one is so old. I don't even know if they make this size anymore. But I basically just have a really big tablet. And the reason for that is because I was using it as an AAC device for kids. So I wanted the bigger screen. And then I also have this really giant foam case on it because I also had clients who have chucked this across the room when they were mad at me. So it bounces, which is great. But I like to use my iPad right now, specifically for our virtual therapy table. So if you haven't seen that yet, we have a page inside our curriculum platform, inside our app, where you can pull it up and it has everything you need to run a session. So it has a chime that you can play at the beginning with a grounding exercise that you get to do with that to get everybody calm. Then there is a worksheet on there, which, speaking of, I have in my therapy bag printouts of our daily worksheet. So every day I put a new worksheet on here. That's a very simple activity that you can do just to keep kids engaged while they're working on their speech or language skill, while they're working through their packet from our curriculum or whatever else you're working on. And all of our worksheets are based on, well, not all of them because tomorrow's not, but most of our worksheets are based on a 20-sided dice roll. So there's 20 different spots on the worksheet. You have them practice their sound or their skill, and then they roll a 20-sided dice, and it tells them what to do for something fun in between. So hang on, I got to find it. I told you guys I got this really packed good today. All right. So I have in my therapy bag a 20-sided dice. Now this one, I don't know if you can tell on the video, but it's a liquid core, which means there's like basically a snow globe inside filled with glitter. And so as it rolls, you can actually see the glitter moving around, which is super fun. And so I like to have a 20-sided dice to work with my worksheets. However, we also have an interactive dice roller on the virtual therapy table. So that's what I use the iPad for as well if I don't have my dice with me. So that's that setup. And then the therapy table also has a prompt generator that's an AI-powered bot. So you put in what skill they're working on and what their interests are, and it will give you a word list, a reading passage, an image, whatever you need. So I like to use that during my sessions to bring up extra practice materials while we're working on whatever skill it is that they're working through or whatever curriculum they're working on. So that's what the iPad is for and the worksheets. I just print these off every day for anybody I'm seeing that day. And then we recycle them and we get new ones tomorrow. This is not clutter that we're having to store later, right? And then the 20-sided dice. Okay, so that's the first bit. Next is games. So, it's making a lot of racket. I love cooperative games. And so everybody's working on whatever they're working on, right? But in between, we can keep the practice fun and engaging by taking turns in a game. Now, I like cooperative games because they are games where everybody is working together towards one outcome. So you're basically trying to beat the board or beat the game as opposed to beating each other. And so I like this for two reasons. Number one, it eliminates a lot of the fighting that goes on in the sessions and the competitiveness that gets in the way of what we're actually trying to do. But also, the cool thing about cooperative games is you have to work together. And so they have to use their communication skills to work with each other. And sometimes that alone is enough to be a benefit to our session. But I also sometimes will say, okay, now while you guys are working out what you're going to do and what the move is going to be, you also have to remember your good speech sound. Or oh, I heard you say her is going to do that. Let's say it like this. She is going to do that. Remember, we're using our pronouns. And so we can practice our skills while they're playing the game. So this one is called Cauldron Quest, and this is from a company called Peaceable Kingdom. Peaceable Kingdom. And they have all of these really fun cooperative games for kids. So this one is ages 6 and up. It takes 20 minutes to play, so we can usually get it done in a session. Sometimes I shorten it a little or I'll, modify the rules. But then here's another one that's ages 5 and up. Race to the Treasure, same company, Peaceable Kingdom. And so they have different games for different age groups. And so I have a bunch of these different games, and I really, really love these. So these are great. Those of you who are on here with me live, what other games do you guys like to do in your therapy sessions? You can put those in the chat, and I'll read those out loud too for those that are listening to the podcast. Uh-oh, I have too much stuff. Okay. Dropping that down. All right, next out of the therapy bag is my data notebook. I'm going to show you the back instead of the front because it's got names on it. But this is where I keep all my data. I really, really like having paper data. I have my daily notes pages that allow me to just write a quick note about what we worked on and what their score was between 1 and 5. That's how I like to do my daily notes. And then once per month, I do the data probes from our packets where we're actually getting full in-depth data on how they're doing on their goals. But in between my data probes, my daily session notes are very simple. It is just what we worked on, a score from 1 to 5 of just how they did overall, and then maybe a quick note about, I worked on this today, or this cue worked well, or try this next time. And so that's what I do for my data. And so I've got all of those in my notebook. I like to have all of them on paper right in front of me so I can just kind of flip around to the kid and mark their data during the session. So there's that. All right. Next up, I'm getting there. Because next up is a whole bunch of fidgets. And so these are a few fidgets that I have right here. I've got this squishy duck thing. It's like a squeeze toy. I've got one of these puzzle cubes that folds into different shapes. And then I have this, what is this? A cone shaped fidget that's 2 pieces that slide and spiral together. So the kids really like that one. That one's really fun. I actually had my son print these on his 3D printer for me so I could use those in therapy. And so a lot of my sessions are just, I have fidgets on the table and I say, okay, you can play with the fidgets, but we have to do our work. As long as you're working, you can play with the fidgets. And so I don't plan an activity. I don't plan a game. I don't have something else going on. We're just working on their skill over and over and over again while they play with fidgets. And so if that works, if that's all you need to keep a kid engaged and practicing, that's the easiest session ever. So that's my go-to. And then if we need to pull out a game or we need something else because everybody's getting fidgety or, wiggly, then we can do that as well. But fidgets are your best friend. Love me some fidgets. And it doesn't have to be those specific ones. Any fidgets work great. Okay, next up are books. I love having a couple of books with me. The one I'm holding up right now is Where's Waldo in Hollywood. Any of the Where's Waldo books are amazing because each page is going to have some really crazy busy scene with all kinds of stuff going on, right? And so this is really great for getting them to practice their skill, especially if you're at the sentence level or the conversational level, because you can have them talk about what they see. And so you can say, okay, tell me, I see a whatever, or that guy is doing this. And that allows us to practice our language skills. It allows us to practice our speech skills if there's a speech sound we're working on, or if we're working on something like social skills. We can also do some asking and answering or responding or instructing. Okay, I'm going to tell you where to find this thing. There's lots of different ways we can use those. The other one I have here, this is called My Big Wemel Book at the construction site, and it's Max Walther is the name. I don't even know where I got this one, but it's basically, it's kind of like a Where's Waldo, because there's these busy scenes, but they're simpler, and it's easier to tell what's going on. And so it's just a book with a whole bunch of big pictures of construction sites. And so they have a whole series. There's animals, farm, cars, and things that go. And there's a lot of people doing different things, like this guy's falling over right here. So lots of things to talk about. Okay, so this is My Big Wemel Book, Wimmelbook, and it's called At the Construction Site. So any of these where it's like a busy scene, I like this one because it's a board book. That makes it a little more durable. But those are great for therapy because you're just, we're just talking. We need our kids to talk, and so that gives us something to talk about. All right, I'm almost done. I also have a little pencil box kind of thing here, and it has my tongue depressors, so I can use those, along with some coffee stirrer straws. So these are like the really thin black straws that you get in your cup of coffee. I like these because they're a little bit smaller, so they're a little easier to use for prompting and cueing for speech sounds. And so we can use these to touch the different parts of the tongue or the roof of the mouth to show them where we want their articulators to go. But I also like to use these to blow into for our friends who have lateralized S's and Z's, because we can try to get them to direct the airflow directly into the straw by putting it in front of their teeth and then having them make the S sound. If they get the airflow going through the front of the teeth into the straw, I don't know if you can hear that, but it makes a little bit of an echoey sound. And so they can actually get the feedback for when they hit it. So I've got a bunch of those in my little pencil box. I have a mirror, of course. I like this, like it's a makeup mirror that's kind of like a stand. You can do this a couple different ways. So I like that guy. I don't know where I got that one. It's very old. And then I have a sports clicker. You hear that? So this is like a lap counter, I guess would be what this is for, where you just click it and it counts and it just adds to the count. And so I find that this is also super motivating for my kids, especially if we're saying, okay, we're going to see how many productions we can do or how many repetitions we can do. Let's see how many times you can say your S sound today. And just being able to click it while they're saying it is enough to get them to sit there and do their sound over and over and over again for way more times than they would have if they didn't have something motivating to do while they were doing it. So I like to have more than one of these so everybody can have their own clicker. I've seen you can put them on a lanyard, and let everybody have one around their neck so that they can still play the game, but then when it's their turn, they're clicking. And then that just kind of helps you get a gauge too for how many repetitions you're getting in your session. Is everybody getting enough turns to practice? And I've used this before when I'm trying to decide if I want to go to 5-minute sessions with a kid. And what I have found pretty consistently is if I have, let's say, 3 kids in a group for 30 minutes, they get the same number of repetitions in as if I do a 5-minute individual session with each of them. And so if I can use data like that to say, okay, in a 30-minute session, he got 45 repetitions, and in a 5-minute session, he got 50, then that gives me data that I can share with the parents and the classroom teachers and the admin when I'm saying, hey, I'd really like to transition this kiddo from 30 minutes weekly to 5 minutes twice a day or twice a week, So that gives you some data for that point as well. But yeah, just clicking this is incredibly fascinating to children. My own son will just sit here and click for like an hour, just see how many he can get. It's crazy. All right, let's see. I have one more last game. All right, this is a game from Blue Orange, the two color words, blue and orange. That's the name of the company. And the game is called Telltale. And it is a storytelling game. And so it is just a tin full of cards that all have weird pictures on them. And so the point of the game, I actually haven't read the instructions of the actual game. I think you play a card and then you have to add that to the story. And so I will have my clients, we'll start a story and I'll say, okay, once upon a time, there was a sand timer counting down. And then the next person puts down a card from their hand. So the one I'm holding up is a picture of a sun. So now they have to add something to my story start that involves a sun. So the sand was counting down because the sun was about to set. Okay, and then the next one, this is the end sign at a movie theater, right? So they just have to put a card down and then make up something that gets to that card that adds it to the story. And so we can do this while we're working on our speech skills, while we're working on our language skills, or just to keep it fun and engaging while we're doing something else. Lots of ways we can use those as well. Okay. That's it. We did it, my friends. That is what's in my therapy bag. I would love to hear what's in your guys' therapy bags as well. So if you are watching this recording or listening to the podcast, you can leave a comment. You can hop into our discussion board and share your favorite ideas. We have a lot of idea sharing that happens in our discussion board. I know people have posted about their favorite games before, their favorite materials. And then we also recently have had a couple people ask about materials for specific groups like bilingual children. And so lots of great resource sharing is happening in there as well. So check that out. That was really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We have a few more events coming up. I guess we have one more event coming up this week. We've got a make and take on Friday at 9 a.m. if you want to join us for that. And then next week, Spot It. Yeah, Peg says Spot It is one of her favorite games. That's a really good one too. It's just a simple game. You can keep it going, but it gives them lots of things to talk about, right? All right, next week we're going to be talking about how to manage those end of the year behaviors. If you've got any of those going on, we're going to do a podcast recording on that at noon on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we're doing our next Speechy Awards. So this is a fun live event we do in the evening where we celebrate our community. We hand out awards to people who have participated in our game and engaged in the community and engaged on the discussion board. The game this month has been our caseload bingo. So if you haven't been playing, we only have one person who's entered to win so far. So you've got a really good chance of winning the free therapy bag, one of these guys. And so all you have to do is print out the bingo card and then mark off when any of those things happen during one of your therapy sessions. So we've still got another week for you guys to play caseload bingo. So hop into the SLK curriculum at hub.speechandlanguagekids.com, print out your bingo card, and then if you get bingo, then you take a picture, post it in the comments, and then that's going to be your entry into the giveaway, the drawing for the free therapy bag. But we'll also be giving away a bunch of these shirts, like the one I have on, for people who have been participating and helping others and discussing. So lots of fun there. And then we'll be talking about, what's new, what's coming up, all of that. And that's next Tuesday, the 28th at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So hope to see you all there as well. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I will say bye for now and see you on the next episode of the Speech and Language Kids podcast. Bye.